What's good? Season 3, Jose Morales podcast. I'm back at you in the Boxing Academy. This is your host, Jose Morales, with the first episode of Season 3. And in this episode, I'm going to be talking about something that I hear a lot of people tell me when I bring up what I do for a living, what I do every day, what my lifestyle is like. Number one thing I hear is when I try to tell them things or try to share some knowledge, they say, not everyone is like you, Jose. So I wanted to bring that up. That is actually what the topic of today's podcast is going to be. I think it's a great podcast to share, especially at the beginning of the year when people have new goals, new resolutions. So I'm going to give you guys my take on that. But before I do that, I wanted to give you guys an update. Every podcast, I want to start off with an update, something that's going on around the gym, in my personal life, with my wife, with my kids, whatever it is that's personal in my life. And a lot of you guys that are following me on Instagram, I had actually mentioned, and if you're previous listeners from season 1 and season 2, when I talked about my relationship, first I actually talked about finding my dad. And if you are not familiar with my story, check out the episode, I believe it's on season 1, it's called 23andMe. And that is when I actually connected with my dad for the first time. And from there, I actually got to talk to him for a good solid year. About a year. And never met him in person. Talked to him on the phone. I actually at one point mentioned on Instagram how I was thinking about giving my kidney. He was going to pass away. He wasn't going to pass away. Well, he was very ill. He wasn't at his best. And I was considering giving him my kidney, and I was really confused about it. I didn't know if I really wanted to do it or not. And I was like, you know what, I'm going to ask Instagram, see what they think. And thank you, by the way. I had a lot of people with some good feedback and some good points. And long story short, it's very hard to do anything like that. Him being in Mexico and myself being here, and also with being undocumented and being a dreamer is not something that I could just sign up for and it happens. So it's definitely a process. We ended up not being able to do that. And plus, I wasn't going to do it, to be honest. I thought about it. I was very, very close, but I ended up deciding not doing it just because of all the hurdles that were there to do it. But on the 2nd of January, which was this year of 2022, he passed away. And it was difficult, a lot more difficult than I expected it to be, just because I grew up hating this person. So going from hating this person to talking to him for a year, getting to know his side of the story, getting to know his feelings, how he feels about everything, to him passing away was definitely interesting because I didn't expect to feel all those mixed emotions. But I wanted to give you story behind that. I actually talked to him a lot the last week or so before his death, and he had called me on the 2nd of January. He sent me a voice message actually on via text, and he just said, "Hey, I really want to talk to you. It's urgent." And he sent me that message at 8:32 a.m. 2:32 p.m. So I called him as soon as I got the message, and 4 minutes later, after the call, he lets me, he doesn't answer. 20 minutes after I called him, he doesn't answer. My aunt calls me and lets me know he passed away. So he actually was calling me, or he wanted to talk to me right before him passing. And the fact that he wanted to talk to me, because right before him passing, I think is what made it even more difficult. The fact that I felt like he wanted to tell me something. He could feel it. And so, yeah, it was rough. I didn't expect it to go down like that. I wanted to give you guys that update. I'm great though. He did mention to me millions of times that he was leaving me with the most precious thing in his life, which is his family, and which is true. He has a beautiful family and that I'm super close with now, that I go visit very often. Actually, I'm going to be visiting them this weekend. So it was I just wanted to share that with you guys because I have so many people ask me what ended up happening. Did you connect with your dad? Did you end up donating a kidney or not? So that is how that's how that story ended with that. So I want to dedicate this episode to him. I hope he rests in peace. And it also ties in with we're talking about. Not everyone's like you, Jose. And I want to mention that a lot of great attributes that I have, like being very outspoken, being very confident. I think being very confident, I definitely got that from him. He is a person that was very personable. From people telling me things about him, he was a very outspoken and everyone liked him. He was likable. He had a very good personality. And I definitely feel like I got that from him. But having that doesn't make you everything. I recently watched and I recommend it. It's on Netflix. It's called Three Identical Strangers. And I recommend you guys watching this. It's about three identical twins. They're triplets. And they grew up separate. They did not talk to each other. They did not know each other. They ended up meeting in college when they were like 19, 20 years old. That's when they met. So I'm not going to ruin it for you guys, but you definitely have to watch it. It's just about how they have the same DNA, obviously, the same people, same everything, but they were raised, one with a lower class family, middle class family, and a rich family. And they were like experimenting with them to see what they're going to turn out with. They're the same DNA. What kind of person or this person's going to be, which at the end of the day, it came down to your environment, where you put yourself, which is 100% true. I agree with that 100%. And let me explain to you the whole story behind why I wanted to talk about this topic. I see people, I talk to people on the daily basis in the gym that have all sorts of goals, all sorts of aspirations, and it's great. Some people already live in their dreams. Some people are already working towards a dream. Some people say they're working towards a dream, but they're not actually doing that. And that's kind of where I wanted to talk about, because I have, I've recently I started, I think it looks like I'm a lot more successful now, or it looks like I'm living a certain lifestyle now. But a lot of the things that I'm doing now, I could have done a few years ago. I just didn't buy a truck a few years ago. I was living a lot more lower key. So now I'm getting comments like, oh, it must be nice, or you're rich, or you got lucky, or you got this, different things in that aspect. And when I do hear things like that, or when I do see it, or maybe they don't even say nothing, or maybe I see potential. Sometimes this is actually a common one. I see potential in people, or I see potential in a business or in a something, and I explain to them, you should take advantage of this skill that you have, or this something, whatever it is that I see, and approach this career path or business. And when I do that and I explain in detail what they should do, at the end they tell me, well, not everyone's like you. And I want to go into detail that I was not born like this. I wasn't born business savvy. I wasn't born with this mentality that I need to be a go-getter, that I need to be this, that I need to grow, that I need to be a leader, that I need to have a good team. I wasn't like this. This was definitely something that was brought around my environment. When I was 16 years old, I worked here at this gym, very gym that I'm at now. And this is a big testimony as far as the people that put me here. And I want to say thank you to them, which is Angelo and Carrie Nunez, that they put me in this position when I was 16 years old to coach and be around adults, and not just any adults, but be around people that were successful. So what I mean by that is I was 16. Think about that. That's a junior in high school, around 34, 35, mid 40s, 40-year-olds, 50-year-olds, successful people, business people, not even business people. Some people just had successful careers in automotive, in different paths, but these were all successful people. And when I was 16, I was around them every single day. That was my job. My job was to come to them, teach them how to box, educate them, get a good workout with them, talk to them. With time of being with them every day, their lifestyle the kind of way they dressed, the way they talked, what they did on the weekend, what they ate, what they drove. All these things started being in my sight. I started seeing these things. So all these things started becoming attractive to me. Oh, that this, like I went to eat one time with a guy at a restaurant that I had never ate before. When I first went there, it was kind of like, I don't know, I've never been to this place, fucking all uppy tight place. I'm like, feel out of place. I'm like, this fucking white ass place or something. You know what I mean? That's kind of what was going through my head. But then when I actually enjoyed the food and started eating and everything, I'm like, you know what, shit, this is actually kind of bomb. And I started kind of feeling for that. This is where this Jose of now started. This is where he was born throughout these experiences. I had a guy that I would train that he owned fucking a whole bunch of nightclubs. So he would let me in nightclubs when I was 16, 17 years old. And these were 21 and over nightclubs. And you think after doing that, I wanted to go to a house function, a house party with high schoolers? Fuck that. I was at a fucking nightclub in the VIP booth weekend prior. Why do I want to kick it with you guys in the living room? You know what I'm saying? So that's where this whole mindset started changing. And this is where going out to eat with these people, hanging out with them, I started getting ideas as far as, oh, look how he talks to his people. Oh, and then with that, I started experimenting. Oh, I'm working here and things that I didn't like that I were at places that I worked in the past. And this is where my mentality started happening as far as how to treat people that are on your team, how to treat people that you're trying to do business with. And this is where the mentality of how to grow a team, a business, and create a life for yourself that I was not taught in high school, that I was not taught at home, that I was definitely not going to be taught around my friends. And this happened not because of anything but me, where I put myself at. After that, I started hanging out with these people a lot more. And this is the thing about situations like this. You can't just, it's like, oh, well, I do hang out with people that have that kind of mentality. No, if someone says, I want to be rich, and they just say that, but their actions don't match up with being rich, they're out drinking and they're partying every weekend, that's not somebody what I'm talking about. It's somebody that's equivalent to what your mindset is. So if you want to be a photographer, you better start hanging out with people that are really good photographers. If that's really what you want to do, if that's really something that you tend to do. I tell it to my boxers all the time. I start group chats between boxers. I'm like, hey, I think you should talk to this guy and that guy should talk to that guy, and you guys hang out. They're strangers to each other, but I know each one of them, and I know that they each have something in common with each other, and they each can help each other. But the best thing about all that, I know that they each have the same goal in mind. What's that goal? They each want to be in the gym and they each want to compete. But the problem is they each have distractions. So what do? I created the relationship within them so they can help keep each other motivated, keep each other on the same page. And that's what I'm telling you guys. If you feel like you have this fucking, I don't know, this beast inside you and every day is bugging you, it's probably because you do have a fucking beast inside you. And what's problem is that beast, that lion, that tiger, whatever it is that you got in there, he's trying to roar and he's trying to get out, but you're not letting him out. You know why you're not letting him out? Because you're stuck in your fucking comfort zone. You're stuck doing the same shit when really that's not you. You're stuck eating bad and you can't get out of that. You're stuck drinking and you can't get out of that. You're stuck doing things that is not you. You're just addicted or you're just comfortable in that lifestyle. So my tip that I tell to people, find your will. If it's something if that's something you really want to do, pay attention to what it is that you think you want to do and chase it. You know, go in about it, find it, and go after that. So that's pretty much the recap is, you know, you are a product of your environment. The people that you surround yourself, the people you talk to daily, and whatever it is that you're feeding your mindset, that is what you're going to produce. So that's it for the season opener. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I please beg you guys, like, share, leave a review, give me some feedback, tell me what you think. Also, if there's anything on your mind you would like me to talk to you about, any topics, mentions, any ideas, Let me know. I would love to hear what you think. Besides that, I hope you guys have a great Monday. I hope you guys enjoy this. And I'll see you guys for the next episode where I'm going to be talking about how not to accept no as an answer. Thank you guys. Have a killer Monday. Have a great week. We out.